Hello there. I am Jason Rains. I am the artist, writer, creator of this here comic book called FLUNG. And seeing as how I've never done one of these things before, just sit and yammer while we draw a thing, I'm just gonna kind of watch the video and talk. Because it's obviously drawing a lot faster than I do in real life. Oh man, I wish I could draw that fast. So I'm just gonna yammer. I'm gonna say some things. Maybe they'll be interesting. Probably not. But what we're starting here with is a cover. This is a cover with our good buddy Ian, as he is in some sort of battle with some creature, some alien thing. And if you see them underneath, I've drawn out my rough sketch. This was done previously. That's kind of how I write the book, is I write it with rough sketches, all in sequence. And then when I'm doing the art, I just go back and finish it all up. So you'll see a lot of things move around and change because the rough is obviously the rough. And what I'm doing here is laying down what would be traditionally called the pencils in comic book parlance. And I'm just kind of sketching things out, getting the anatomy of this thing and refining the details, as it were. One thing you may notice is that I am indeed drawing all of this in Adobe Animate. Gasp from the audience. I know, nobody draws in Animate. Well, I do. For good or ill. I've been using Animate since it was a little program called Future Splash way back in the... I'm not even going to say how far back. It was a really long time ago. But I started using it to do animation for the comic book I was doing, which back then was Joe Psycho Moo Frog. And then eventually became a Flash animator and moved to Hollywood and made movies and TV shows and all that fun stuff. But I've always used Flash. I like the tools. I like the way it works. I like pretty much everything about it. Could be a little more stable. That would be nice, but other than that. So yeah, here we are, drawing right along. Looks like we finished up the alien creature. Get him all posed up nice on the page. And we're going to start moving into Senior Ian. Flip him around there so that we can see what we're drawing, because drawing a face upside down at an angle is difficult. So we'll just do it right side up. Spin it back around. But yeah, I like Flash. I have developed kind of my own whole pipeline, you could say. Kind of inspired by comics, kind of inspired by TV shows and movie work. I also used Flash, or do use Flash, to do storyboards, which I do a lot. Last batch I did some for the TV show Leverage, because I do a bunch of work here and there for Electric Entertainment. I love those guys. They are my favorite production company. And yeah, I developed this kind of technique for drawing out storyboards that kind of morphed into a way of drawing comics, which then morphed into a way of drawing three-dimensional comics, which is how I'm doing this stuff. Drawing in Flash gives you the ability to work in layers, but also your layers are vector, so you can draw something and create it and then move it around however you want. Alright, so now we're inking. We're inking this vile creature. This strange abomination with dragonfly wings. The hell is this thing anyway? And why is Ian fighting with it? Claws. I always like drawing the claws. I don't know why I like drawing claws so much. Something so nice about the shape. The killing shape of claws. Yeah, so we're just throwing in inks, laying it all down. I've been playing with other programs and different types of brushes, but honestly, I like the Flash brushes and working on a Cintiq. I've got my little tablet. I just sit on the couch and I draw my comics, and life is good. Wow, I really do wish I could ink this fast. I don't even know how much time I would save if I could ink this fast. I used to do a lot of shadowing in my work. Back when I was doing comics in the 90s, I would use ink to cover things and put a lot of things in blackness, but as I evolved over time, I just kind of moved away from that into more open shapes and just using inks to really be the line work, just the basic line work, and really try to make the texture and the shading of an object come out through the color. Which would be great if I was doing like realistic colors and whatnot, but I'm not. I'm doing this hyper saturated, insanely alien color scheme stuff. So I don't even know what I'm doing half the time. Honestly, this whole project was just kind of started as a surrealistic thought project, a thought exercise. And I kind of just laid down panels and just let the story take me where it did. And it actually took me all the way through. I ended up drawing out 12 issues, I think, before I even started inking anything. I refined it, of course, the story, over the years. Moved things around. That's kind of the nice thing about this technique of using a single timeline in Flash, is that if you draw each panel one after another in a timeline, then you can go through that timeline and edit your location on the timeline that events happen without having to change anything in the book itself. When I originally started drawing this, I was doing every comic page as 4 panels, each one the exact same size, and it was kind of a CinemaScope ratio, like a 2:3:8:1 kind of ratio. And I've kept that, but now, because everything is in vector format, I can move things around to change it for different panel orientations and page orientations, which makes it easy to reformat the book for different formats, for different platforms. So I could do a vertical scroller for webtoons, and I can do a print version, and I can do a horizontal epic single-paneled version, which is the one we're going to be offering to our subscribers and members on our webpage. It's going to be awesome. And there's no loss of any kind of quality in the art because it's all vector. I can zoom in 1000% if I want. So here we are in the inks, continuing along. Oh, we're on the wings. I always save the wings on these guys for last, so that must mean we must be getting close to the end of this guy. His name, by the way, is Curly. No, that has nothing to do with the fact that he has no hair on his head. It's because he has 2 buddies named Larry and Mo. But we'll talk about them later. And as we finish up the inks on this character, you can see that I am doing the inks for the wings on a separate layer because I want to be able to make them separate objects that I can move around and do different effects on. Oh, here's the coloring.